All right. Hello and everybody, welcome. Oh, got an echo. Okay, let's try that again. Hello and everybody, welcome to Cool Beans Hot Stuff. This is my new Twitch channel. I just started it Monday, and I was going around on Twitch and looking at some channels and thought, I don't see anybody doing any like live research streams where we just spend time together researching a really cool topic and learning about it. And yeah, I thought that would be kind of cool. I wanted to do some kind of stream for a long time, some kind of YouTube channel or something, but YouTube channel is a little bit more work than the live streaming. So I decided I want to do some kind of live streaming. And I thought that would be a really fun idea. So here we are. I just spent the last 2 months putting it all together and just started it Monday. So this is only my fourth stream. Let's see, this is my first Thursday, and on this channel, Thursdays are conspiracy theory Thursdays. So every Thursday on Cool Beans Hot Stuff, we spend a couple hours going through and researching some kind of, conspiracy theory, obviously. So I'll be honest, every other day of the week is a topic that like I really personally enjoy. Wednesdays, if you haven't seen the channel yet or haven't looked into it, or you're watching on YouTube, because these videos will be on YouTube here shortly. Wednesdays, I stream Wildlife Wednesdays, where we learn about wildlife. I love animals, all kinds, nature, all that cute, cuddly shit. Tuesdays is Terrifying Tuesdays. That's my favorite day. That's where we go over some kind of scary story or like something macabre or morbid or weird about the world, something like that. Mondays is Mental Health Mondays, which is a fun topic. It's not as much fun as it is informative. I think it's a much needed topic, and it's something that I do happen to know a decent amount about. I've been through a lot of my own mental health type journeys in the past. Been to like, therapists, and then spent a lot of time reading on psychology, read a untold number of self-help books. So I go through that information and to try to kind of throw something out there that might help somebody who is on their own mental health journey. So I enjoy Mondays too. And then Fridays is probably second most favorite. Fridays is Film Buff Fridays. We'll be doing that for the first time tomorrow, where we'll be going over how to critique a film. And that's mostly what we'll be doing on Fridays, is learning how to critique film, learning about film theory, and then critiquing some films. Right? I mean, how can that not be fun? That sounds like a fucking blast. Thursdays, though, conspiracy theories, some of them can be entertaining, some of them can be really fun. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. I don't really spend a whole lot of time looking into all these theories and researching stuff, which makes it completely new territory to me, right? If like I was at a party and somebody's like, "Whoa, what do you think about this and this and that?" And if it's conspiracy theories, I'm like, I don't know, dude, that sounds crazy. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know shit about it. So what it was I went and asked a whole bunch of my friends and family, and a lot of them, almost every single one of them, said conspiracy theories. Do at least one day a week on conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories are a lot of fun. So it's like, well, okay, I'm just the odd duck, and, I don't spend a lot of time on conspiracy theories, but sounds like everybody else does. So I said, okay, sure, I can entertain that idea. Give it a shot, try it out, and see if it's kind of fun. So that's what we're doing for Thursdays for the foreseeable future, until otherwise noted. Maybe once I drum up a decent amount of content and maybe am able to pull some people in to watch the stream, actually start getting some of you out there to follow me. Once I have a big enough following, then maybe I can start start looking at analytics and seeing if conspiracy theories is the way to go on Thursdays. But for the meantime, friends and family said, let's do it. So I said, okay, let's do it. And so today is our first conspiracy theory Thursday. And since it's my first Thursday, first week streaming, nobody's watching. And that's kind of a good thing, because this is going to give me a chance to kind of just shoot my shot and see if I can do this correctly, and then throw this on YouTube, see if I get any hits, send this out to friends and family, see if they like it, see if this is the kind of idea that they had. when they said, let's talk about conspiracy theories. So, and it gave me a chance to start with an easy one, or I guess a easy to research one, because some of these conspiracy theories, man, they are fucking hard to research. I guess that's why they're conspiracy theories, right? Because if they're easy to research, then everybody would know the answer. This one's pretty easy one. Today we're going to go over dead internet theory. So if you don't know what that is, or you do know what that is, we're going to go over, let's see, I got my handy dandy note card here. I'm all professional like. What is dead internet theory? An explanation. We got some YouTube videos that'll explain it for us. Where did it start? Where was its origins, its history? How did it spread? We're going to go through what the claims of dead internet theory are and some evidence in support of it. Then we're going to go through some critiques of dead internet theory and evidence against it. And then I'm going to go ahead and give you my professional opinion, having so much experience with conspiracy theories. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I think. And then to anybody who does happen to watch this live, or anybody who catches this after the fact, whenever we do a Conspiracy Theory Thursday, I will have on my Twitch in the, I guess it would be the right from your angle, the right side of the screen, there's a tiny little purple box on the side of the screen. You can click on it and there's a poll there. After the show's over, you can click whether or not you think dead internet theory is true or false. And that'll be every Conspiracy Theory Thursday. We'll go over it, or we'll do the poll and see when there's enough people to do an actual poll. Right now, I believe it's just me and my cutie pie who are on the stream. So between the two of us, we'll decide whether or not these conspiracy theories are correct. The rest of you, hopefully, y'all get the hint, join the Cool Kid Club, and come join someday. So anyways, that's what we're doing today. That's what this channel's about. And yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it, right? Okay, so first, what we got here, what is dead internet theory, right? And there I got a couple different articles to go over that can explain it in pretty good depth. But before we do that, here is a video for you to watch. Let's check it out, see what they have to say. I should probably read this out for some of you, especially if people are just listening on YouTube. Hold on, let me go back. Okay, what is dead internet theory? It's no secret that artificial intelligence is becoming more prominent in our daily lives, from AI personal assistants like Siri and Alexa to AI-generated images flooding the internet. Most people encounter AI every day. One place you may not realize it, however, is accounts you may be interacting with on social media. Dun dun dun. Something called the dead internet theory has become more prominent in discussions surrounding internet culture in the 2020s. According to the Journal of AI and Society, the dead internet theory is the idea that the internet is predominantly populated by AI-generated content, regulating human activity to isolated instances. The idea is simple. AI is becoming so convincingly lifelike that it's impossible to tell the difference between a real person and a bot, an account run by an AI. The dead internet theory takes this concept to its conclusion by suggesting that when you're scrolling or chatting on social media, the majority of the interactions you have are with fake bot accounts. This concept started as somewhat of a joke. An X account started in 2023 called Dead Internet at its Finest highlights humorous and exaggerated examples of obviously run AI accounts. AI in society suggests, however, that it's becoming a more real concern every day, and that in the wake of generative AI, it can now be observed firsthand, and it highlights a disturbing trend: the blurring lines between human and AI-driven interactions. And this was by Nexstar Media Group. Okay, so that's dead internet theory in a gist. That's basically what it amounts to, is at some point in time, somebody came around and said, hey, there's a lot of AI all over the internet, and there's a good possibility that there's more AI-generated content than there is human-generated content. And a lot of the people you are interacting with aren't actually people, they're AI bots. So as if the internet itself didn't make us more isolated, we now have this to contend with, the general idea that you're not even interacting with people when you're on the internet. You're interacting solely with bots. So just makes it even more depressing. The dead internet theory makes eerie claims about an AI run web. The truth is more sinister. Okay. So what's the truth? I think this here is a little bit more on the claims. What is it? Bot fuel disinformation. That's right. Yada yada. Keep the dead. Okay. Yeah. So this is just a quick article we're going to run through that gives us some examples of dead internet theory, what people mean when they say that. And if you'll look here, Jesus shrimp. That's right. Jesus shrimp are a telltale example of dead internet theory, or at least AI run bot accounts. So, if you search shrimp Jesus on Facebook, you might encounter dozens of images of artificial intelligence generated crustaceans meshed in various forms with a stereotypical image of Jesus Christ. Some of these hyper-realistic images have garnered more than 20,000 likes and comments. So what exactly is going on here, right? That's a good question, because I don't know who likes that picture right there. That's super fucking freaky. Something out of your nightmare. The dead internet theory has an explanation. AI and bot-generated content has surpassed the human-generated internet. But where did this idea come from, and does it have any basis in reality? Well, let's see what Shrimp Jesus says. What is the dead internet theory? The dead internet theory essentially claims that activity and content on the internet, including social media accounts, are predominantly being created and automated by AI agents. These agents can rapidly create posts alongside AI-generated images designed to farm engagement. Engagement is clicks, likes, comments on platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As for Shrimp Jesus, it appears AI has learned it's the current latest mix of absurdity and religious iconography to go viral. But the dead internet theory goes even further. Many of the accounts that engage with such content also appear to be managed by artificial intelligence agents. This creates a vicious cycle of artificial engagement, one that has no clear agenda and no longer involves humans at all. So it isn't even just the comments and the people that you're commenting against. It's the people liking their comments, not liking their comments, sharing these comments, the whole fucking thing. The whole thing is just fake. So, is this harmless engagement farming or sophisticated propaganda? Well, at first glance, the motivation for these accounts to generate interest may appear obvious. Social media engagement leads to advertising revenue, right? What do you think I'm doing here? If a person sets up an account that receives inflated engagement, they may earn a share of advertising revenue from social media organizations such as Meta or Twitch. So does the dead internet theory stop at harmless engagement farming, or perhaps beneath the surface lies a sophisticated, well-funded attempt to organize autocratic regimes, attack opponents, and spread propaganda? So there's a more sinister side of this potential conspiracy theory, that it isn't just Shrimp Jesus, it's Shrimp Jesus trying to fuck with your mind. While the Shrimp Jesus phenomenon may seem harmless, albeit bizarre, there is a potentially longer-term ploy at hand. All these AI-driven accounts grow in followers, many fake, some real. The high follower count legitimizes the account to real users. This means out there an army of accounts is being created, accounts with high follower counts which could be deployed by those with the highest bid. This is critically important, as social media is now the primary news source for many users around the world. In Australia, 46% of 18 to 24-year-olds nominated social media as their main source of news last year. This is up from 28% in 2022, taking over from traditional outlets such as radio and TV. So, bot-fueled disinformation. I think this goes over some of the stuff going on X. So let's take a look at that. Already there is strong evidence social media is being manipulated by these inflated bots to sway public opinion with disinformation, and it's been happening for years. In 2018, a study analyzed 14 million tweets over a 10-month period in 2016 and 17. It found bots on social media were significantly involved in disseminating articles from unreliable sources. Accounts with high numbers of followers were legitimizing misinformation and disinformation, leading real users to believe, engage, and reshare bot-posted content. So we've all ran into that, right? I mean, personally, I don't do a lot of social media, if I'm being honest with you. I just started a TikTok and a Instagram account for my stream, and I still haven't actually started posting anything about the stream on it yet. And that's about as much as I've been involved with social media in the last 6-7 years. I have a YouTube account where I watch YouTube videos, and that's about it, man. So, but still, I have been through this issue. I guess, well, that's not true. I have a Reddit account. I peruse through Reddit, argue with 14-year-olds about meaningless shit. It's a good favorite pastime of mine. And I have definitely ran into this on Reddit, where people are sharing content and you're like, is this real? Is this actually a thing? Like, who did the research on this? Because this seems shady. And then people in Reddit will look at it, do some research, and be like, yep, this is bullshit. This is some bot made this. And this isn't a real statistic. This isn't a real video. This isn't real evidence of anything. So, and I'm sure those of you who, especially the younger people that might come across this video, have spent more time on X and TikTok, and probably ran into this a lot more, right? Hold on. I got a little fucking throat thing. First week of streaming, Monday comes up and bam, got a ear infection, ear and throat infection. So I got all nasty nose noises that I got to mute out occasionally. So you're welcome. Okay, continuing. This approach to social media manipulation has been found to occur after mass shooting events in the United States. In 2019, a study found bot-generated posts on X heavily contribute to the public discussion, serving to amplify or distort potential narratives associated with extreme events. More recently, several large-scale pro-Russian disinformation campaigns have aimed to undermine support for Ukraine and promote Russian sentiment. Uncovered by activists and journalists, the coordinated efforts used bots and AI to create and spread fake information reaching millions of social media users. On X alone, the campaign used more than 10,000 bot accounts to rapidly post tens of thousands of messages of pro-Kremlin content attributed to U.S. and European celebrities, seemingly supporting the ongoing war against Ukraine. I don't know if any of you remember this. I wasn't on social media at that time, but I've seen the examples of it. I've seen the videos of all different kinds of celebrities. Pick a celebrity, George Clooney, this person, that person. I don't know why George Clooney is Brad Pitt. Those are the only two celebrities I can remember right now for some reason. But there, Denzel Washington. It was pick whoever you want to pick. It's like they had a video for almost everybody talking about how Ukraine is losing and it's better to just side with Russia and this and that and that. So this really happened. I definitely remember seeing the evidence of this happening. Okay. This scale of influence is significant. Some reports have even found that nearly half of all internet traffic in 2022 was made by bots. With recent advancement in generative AI, such as OpenAI's ChatGPT models and Google's Gemini, the quality of fake content will only be improving. Social media organizations are seeking to address the misuse of their platforms. Notably, Elon Musk has explored requiring X users to pay for memberships to stop bot farms. I have a throat thing and heartburn. I'm getting old, falling apart. It was just yesterday I could eat a whole pizza and not get any heartburn. Now I sit down and talk for 18 minutes. My shit's all flared up. I don't know if any of you remember that. Elon Musk, when he took over Twitter, turned it into X, required everybody to get memberships. A lot of people were pissed off. I remember that very vividly. And here's a tweet. Unfortunately, a small fee for new user right access is the only way to curb the relentless onslaught of bots. This is Elon Musk tweeting this, or Xing this. Current AI and troll farms can pass "Are you a bot?" with ease. So the policy was initially being tested to help reduce spam and improve the experience for users overall, the X Daily News writes. Social media giants are capable of removing large amounts of detected bot activity if they so choose. Bad news for our friendly Shrimp Jesus. Yeah, that's a bummer. We're surely going to miss him. Okay, so, and then this right here. I don't know what the rest of that was. I forget, but it wasn't important. So, yeah, there you have it in a nutshell. That is dead internet theory, and dead internet theory does have some possible serious side effects to it, some serious consequences. Let's see here. This is a little bit more about bots on Twitter. This is, I guess, you could say that last little article was some evidence in favor of the dead internet theory. It did pose a really legitimate concern and some legitimate statistics as far as like 50% of all activity on the internet was like fake in 2022. So who knows what it is in 2025, right? Showed us some incidents where this, shrimp Jesus, Russian propaganda with celebrities, where AI has been used to generate something harmless but disturbing, and not so harmless and equally disturbing. Probably not as disturbing. Celebrities in favor of Russia is not nearly as disturbing as Shrimp Jesus, but they're both pretty unfortunate. And so, yeah, this is two examples where AI has jumped into the loop and created something kind of crazy, something that became a pretty big deal, right? Okay, so what happened with the bots on X? This is a little bit more information that might be in favor of the dead internet theory being plausible. So let's take a look. A popular post on X comparing the sound of Kazakh to a diesel engine trying to start in winter currently sits at more than 24,000 likes and 20,000 reposts. 20,000 likes on a video that doesn't have sound. This website is so cooked, writes Odysseus. Whether the caption is relevant is difficult to say, as the video was mistakenly uploaded with no audio. Thus, many users assumed bots were mindlessly liking the post. That is kind of crazy. 20,000 likes. This led the X users to repost the video and declare that the site formerly known as Twitter was cooked. Nowadays, this is common talking point on the site. Okay, regular X users have long been complaining about the amount of inane, irrelevant, and clearly AI-generated replies that have infested X, especially lately. A swarm of bots have descended on the site like flies on a turd. That's a good image. Turning reply chains into endless, pointless pleasantries between no one. And here's, I'm assuming, one of these examples. Stephen Asarch says, but have you heard the good news about Bitcoin? And Kate Tenbarg says, X, it's like Twitter, except anytime you post your replies, immediately start to fill up with scam accounts, spam accounts, and crypto bots pretending to be real accounts. I've seen that on YouTube. Whole entire conversations happening between crypto bots, all talking about, oh, have you tried this coin and that coin, and I made $20,000 on this coin. So that's a thing. Although X users still manage to find witty and weird replies from their fellow humans, the proliferation of bots has affected the user experience. Others noted that it isn't just X-generative AI, isn't just X. Generative AI is also being used to autofill product descriptions and names on Amazon. So, let's take a look here. Thought this was an edit, but laughed my ass off. I'm sorry, but I cannot fulfill this request. It goes against OpenAI use policy black. Apologies, but I'm unable. Ah, wow. So somebody's using OpenAI to generate descriptions of items on Amazon. Crazy. And then Austin Petersmith, in case you were wondering whether any Amazon sellers are using GPT to programmatically generate product names and descriptions. There you go. It says the same thing. I'm sorry, but I cannot fulfill this request. It goes against OpenAI use policy. So, I mean, I don't know if that supports, dead internet theory per se, right? Because it's live people who are using ChatGPT to fill out the description because they're too fucking lazy to do it. I don't know if that exactly counts as dead internet theory, but for several months, artists and writers have lamented that the internet is being filled with AI-generated pictures that have no value beyond novelty and AI-generated writing that no one wants to read. So that's definitely true. I'll talk about that here in a minute. The rapid accumulation of AI-generated garbage was predicted by critics the moment the technology was introduced, and those predictions are slowly coming to fruition. Like the great plastic garbage patch that floats on the surface of the ocean, the AI-generated slop is starting to rise to the top. It's not quite the dead internet theory. Humans are still providing the majority of content and conversations on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, and TikTok, but it seems as though the conspiracy theory could become depressingly close to reality. So, and this is a dead internet theory real? We'll see what they have to say about it. Before we get into that, though, I did want to comment on that AI. So I have been seeing AI take over everything, as I'm sure all of you have. Anybody who's paying attention on the internet has definitely seen AI art, especially being generated absolutely everywhere. You're seeing instances of it. I know just in the last couple of days, somebody used an AI generator to generate Studio Ghibli style art. And I forget his name, and even if I remembered it, I can't pronounce it, but the creator of Studio Ghibli was pretty pissed off and annoyed with it, said that's disgusting. which it is because, they do all that art for those movies by hand. I fucking love those movies. I may not know the director or remember his name, and I'm probably pronouncing Studio Ghibli wrong, but I absolutely fucking loved Spirited Away, The Boy and the Heron. I'm blanking on a lot of the names, but there were several of them that are really good. My girlfriend absolutely loves what is it, Kiki's Special Delivery Service. All really amazing cartoons, and not just for the stories. The stories are really beautiful and magical, but the art is, out of this world. Some of the best art ever. Spirited Away is easy. The Princess Mononoke or Monoke or whatever is got some incredible art in it. It's breathtaking. And so it is kind of sad to see AI taking over that aspect. I have a friend, if I can go on a tangent here. Oh, my girlfriend said, when I go on a tangent, I need to move to this screen. So we'll oblige her. I don't know if I like that screen. You can see the zit on my nose. My beard is suddenly way too close for comfort. Well, whatever. So, anyways, when it comes to AI, me and my friends have a theory. I got a couple friends. I used to work in the music industry for like 8-9 years. I worked in recording studios, and I had a couple of really good friends that I met working in recording studios. And the three of us, they both still work in music. I don't work in music anymore. I have a hearing thing. I need to wear hearing aids now. I lost a bunch of my hearing listening to music too loud. So, everybody told me when I was a kid, don't do that. And I was like, fuck you. And well, I probably should have done that. Probably should have not done that. Turn the music down. One of those friends of mine used to show up to concerts with me. We'd go to concerts to look for clients or whatever. And he'd show up to the concert with the foam in his ears. And I'd be like, why are you coming to a concert with earplugs, dude? And he'd be like, to protect my hearing, bro. I'm like, you pussy. And well, he's still making music and I'm not. So that's how that ended. But both of those friends of mine, they still make music. They're still in the music industry. One of them's an EDM producer. He's an amazing EDM producer. The other one plays in a band. It got I believe it's an alternative band named Pink Ranger. Him and his girlfriend, awesome band. So he's an amazing guitarist and a great songwriter. They're still in the music industry. We used to work in recording studios together. And all three of us have regular conversations about AI, because AI now is to the point, like they say up here earlier in the article, like, oh, all the AI slop that's being put out, the rapid accumulation of AI generated garbage. And that's a thing. It's true. There is a lot of AI generated garbage, but AI is starting to very quickly not generate garbage. It's really vastly getting to the point where you can't tell the difference between AI generated stuff, because it's not bad anymore. It's actually getting better, really good. And my girlfriend used an AI generator to generate a couple songs. And she gave them to me. I was like, wow, those sound wildly professional. 9 years in recording studios. I was like, man, that sounds pretty damn good. Like that sounds like top recording record producer quality type stuff. The only thing that gives it away is the tiny little mistakes that it makes where me being a recording engineer and a mixing engineer at one point in my life, for a very long portion of my life, I can hear mistakes in the mix, mistakes in songwriting, where it's like that's an unusual mistake for a artist to make. Somebody who's that's it, Suno AI. Thank you, Cutie Pie. So yeah, that's in there for anybody who's watching. It's over here in this corner right here. Oop, no, right there. Suno AI was the name of the AI program, Cutie Pie just said. So, hold on. I'm muting out more of those nasty nose noises for you. So, yeah, anyway, she used Suno AI to generate these AI songs, and I was very surprised with how professional that they sounded. Again, I could pick up little tiny mistakes that if this were an actual recorded song, no recording engineer, no mixing engineer, no record producer would make these tiny obvious mistakes. And so, that was a pretty dead giveaway that with this song, the quality that it has would cost tens of thousands of dollars to get to this point. There's no way anybody spending that amount of money is going to make these tiny little mistakes in the songwriting process or this or that or the other thing, right? And there was odd things there. Like I think there was one song that had 6, instead of your regular 4-bar verses on a standard pop song, it had one verse that was randomly 6 bars for no reason. and just kind of cut off. And it's like, okay, see, again, that's an odd mistake that no record producer would ever make on a song that would be of this high a quality. But I sent to my friends and they said the same thing. They said, yeah, it's AI generated for sure, but it's still alarmingly good, man. A normal person who doesn't have 9 years experience in a recording studio would not be able to tell that this is an AI generated song, and that's the unfortunate truth. A lot of times I run across AI generated art on the internet, and, artists in Reddit or whatever are like, this is totally AI generated. And I'm like, I'm not a artist. I don't paint. I'm not a drawer. I'm not graphics artist. None of that shit. And so I didn't know the difference. I couldn't tell that. To me, it looked like just a piece of art that somebody did, and it was really good. So that blew my mind. AI pictures are getting to the point where you can't tell the difference. And unfortunately, because now I'm a writer. I do writing. That's what my Substack is here on the bottom, right here. Substack, that's where I post all my stories for free. If you're ever interested in reading some good scary stories, that's where I post them. Being a writer, I get into the writing subreddit, and people are constantly bitching on there about AI and how it's taking over writing, and how some publishing company just invented this new AI that can output, I think it was like 10,000 novels in a day it can write, which is incredible. And I'm sure not all those 10,000 novels are good. I'm sure the most of them probably aren't, but some of them got to be good. And it's just going to keep getting better and better to the point that, yeah, publishing houses aren't going to need writers. They're just going to output 10,000 novels in a day. And everybody out there who wants a good book to read is going to have a good book to read. And it's just a more efficient process than hiring writers and dealing with a bunch of writers, or dealing with musicians, or dealing with artists. So it's unfortunate. It's a crazy thing to happen. This is almost the point that I'm trying to make, is it's almost dead internet theory turning into dead world theory, where nothing you ingest, even when it comes to music, art, writing, movies, at some point it's going to be entirely AI generated, or it could be. It's pretty crazy. Anyways, let's go ahead and rant over. I'll probably rant on that some more somewhere later in the stream. But in the meantime, let's go back to this screen and we'll continue with this article. Just see what they say. Is dead internet theory real? So this is their hypothesis. They are Forbes. This is the Forbes hypothesis. Okay, so there are bots out there, sure, but the theory does not describe the internet of today, let alone in 2021. Social media sites have always taken measures to block spam bots and still do, even as the bots are evolving, aided by generative AI. At the moment, generative AI is not capable of creating good content by itself. When was this article written? I want to fact check right there. Because as I just said, 2024. So this is a little over a year ago. We are definitely at the point now, just in 1 year, we are at the point where AI is at least making quality art, is capable of it for sure. But anyways, continuing. Generative AI is not capable of creating good content by itself, simply because AI cannot understand context. The vast majority of posts that go viral, unhinged opinions, witticisms, astute observations, reframing of the familiar in a new context, are not AI generated. The internet might feel boring, broken, spammy, and algorithmic, but we are not drifting alone in a sea of electronic NPCs. Other than reposting content made by people, bots don't lead the internet in the way the theory suggests. Influencers do, and the bots follow their lead. The weird, witty commentary, willful misrepresentations, personal attacks, and unhinged opinions that fuel online discourse are still flowing from human users, but the AI-generated garbage that surrounds it appears to be increasing. There are points in your text that have truth to them and have only become more relevant in the years since. For example, algorithms do dictate our browsing experiences and can make or break viral posts. Yeah. Very true. The internet of today is much more sterile than the wild, unpredictable internet of the past. Well, that's definitely true. As the diverse ecosystem of small, user-created sites was replaced by a handful of huge platforms built by large corporations who seek to monetize our browsing and sharing, often to the detriment of user experience. The internet of today feels far more restricted and corporate than it ever has. Even Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, is disappointed with the state of his creation, stating, "The web is not the web we wanted in every respect." There are still interesting, funny things happening online all the time, but the good stuff is becoming increasingly harder to find, like Cool Beans Hot Stuff. You got to come here for it. And trends are blurring into the marketing campaigns, like the Stanley Cup and even the Grimace Shake. I don't know what that is. The dead internet theory might not reflect the reality of the average browsing experience, but it does describe the feeling of boredom and alienation that can accompany it. Like the best conspiracy theories, the dead internet theory fictionalized a depressing truth. The internet has been walled off by megacorporations and is now beginning to fill up with AI generated. So, their hypothesis is that it's not true, it can't be true because AI isn't capable of doing it to the point that it needs to be done. The quality behind AI isn't there. Well, a year later, I would disagree. I would heavily disagree. AI is definitely there, and it's getting more there every single day. It's getting better at generating photorealistic images, artwork. Again, the Studio Ghibli stuff that just released a few days ago was insane. How close it was to the actual Studio Ghibli artwork was, I mean, it looked exactly like it, you know? So it's there, man. It is. Um, and he had, oh, there was a lot of interesting things said there about mega corporations taking over the internet and monetizing it. We have an article here that kind of follows in the same vein. A little bit more depressing. This is from Intelligencer, New York NY Magazine Intelligencer. So let's go over this. This is more opinions and or evidence in support of dead internet theory. So the metrics are fake. Take something as seemingly simple as how we measure web traffic. Metrics should be the most real thing on the internet. They are countable, trackable, and verifiable, and their existence undergirds the advertising business that drives our biggest social and search platforms. Yet not even Facebook, the world's greatest data gathering organization, seems able to produce genuine figures. In October, small advertisers followed suit against the social media giant, accusing it of covering up for a year its significant overstatements of the time users spent watching the videos on the platform. By 60 to 80%, Facebook says. By 150 to 900%, the plaintiffs say. Ooh, wow. Just for future reference, when was this article? This is 2018. So in 2018, Facebook. I guess you can tell it was old because they say Facebook and not Meta, but Facebook was sued. So even in 2018, metrics were fake. Maybe it got changed by then. I don't know. Let's read. According to an exhaustive list at Marketing Land, which looks like another company, over the past 2 years, Facebook has admitted to representing the reach of posts on Facebook pages in two different ways: the rate at which viewers complete ad videos, the average time spent reading its instant articles. Burp. The amount of referral traffic from Facebook to external websites, the number of views that videos receive via Facebook's mobile site, and the number of video views in instant articles. That seems like a lot of different ways in which they're skewing the numbers. Can we still trust the metrics? After the inversion, what's the point? Even when we put our faith in their accuracy, there's something not quite real about them. My favorite statistic this year was Facebook's claim that 75 million people watched at least a minute of Facebook Watch videos every day. Though, as Facebook admitted, the 60 seconds in that 1 minute didn't need to be watched consecutively. Real videos, real people, fake minutes. So, not even the metrics they're using to represent who and what is on the internet are real. The Intelligencer postulates. And the people are fake, it says. And maybe we shouldn't even assume that the people are real. Over at YouTube, the business of buying and selling video views is flourishing, as the Times reminded readers with a lengthy investigation in August. The company says only a tiny fraction of its traffic is fake, but fake subscribers are enough of a problem that the site undertook a purge of spam accounts in mid-December. These days, the Times found you can buy 5,000 YouTube views, 30 seconds of a video count as a view, for as low as $15. Ooh, wow. Well, I need to get into that. Jeez Louise. I'm just starting my YouTube video. That might come in handy. Oftentimes, customers are led to believe that the views they purchase come from real people. More likely, they come from bots. So that's a bummer. On some platforms, video views and app downloads can be forged in lucrative industrial counterfeiting operations. If you want a picture of what the inversion looks like, find a video of a click farm. Hundreds of individual smartphones arranged in rows on shelves or racks in professional-looking offices, each watching the same video or downloading the same app. I have seen videos of that. That's pretty crazy. Chinese click farms. It's so surreal to see hundreds of videos hundreds of phones playing the same video for the purpose of fake engagement. Let's take a look at what that looks like. I have seen these pictures though.
有些人看我的
This is
视
what it
频没有
is.
点赞就离开了，而有些人还没看完，随手就是一个赞，因为他们知道每个人都不容易，随手一个赞就是对年轻人
Look at
最大
all
的
those
鼓励。
phones.
如果
Wow.
你也是，有些人看我的视频
That's
没有
pretty
点赞。
crazy. So that is just an engagement farm right there. What do they call it? A click farm? Crazy, man. This is obviously not real human traffic, but what would real human traffic look like? The inversion gives rise to some odd philosophical quandaries. Old philosophical quandaries. If a Russian troll using a Brazilian man's photograph to masquerade as an American Trump supporter watches a video on Facebook, is that view real? Not only do we have bots masquerading as humans and humans masquerading as other humans, but also sometimes humans masquerading as bots pretending to be AI personnel assistants like Facebook's M, in order to help tech companies appear to possess cutting-edge AI. That is crazy. I haven't heard of that. We even have whatever CGI Instagram influencer Lil McQuilla is, a fake human with a real body, a fake face, and real influences. Geesh. Okay. Even humans who aren't masquerading can contort themselves through layers of diminishing reality. The Atlantic reports that non-CGI human influencers are posting fake sponsored content. Well, I think everybody knows that's a thing, at least on Instagram especially. That is, content meant to look like content that is meant to look authentic for free, to attract attention from brand reps who they hope will pay them real money. So we're definitely, everybody's seen that on Instagram, the fitness influencers, right? And it doesn't even stop at using CGI. Like CGI, is a thing for sure. The filters that, everybody uses on Tinder and shit nowadays, that's not even the majority of it. I remember watching a video one time of Instagram influencers were using butt pads, like plastic butt cheeks that they'd wiggle in between their spandex. The girls would wiggle these fake butts in their spandex so it made it look like they had a bigger butt when they're taking pictures in the gym. So, it gets faker and fake. It's always been fake. There's always been some level of fake there. These people are arguing that the levels of fake are to the point that they can't be measured, not quantifiable anymore. So, I don't know. You judge how you feel about that. And the businesses are fake. The money is usually real, not always. Ask someone who enthusiastically got into cryptocurrency this time last year. Ooh, that was a burn. But often enough to be an engine of the inversion. If the money is real, why does anything else need to be? Early this year, the writer and artist Jenny Odell began to look into an Amazon reseller that had bought goods from other Amazon resellers and resold them, again on Amazon at higher prices. This is crazy. Odell discovered an elaborate network of fake price gouging and copyright stealing businesses connected to the cult-like evangelical church, whose followers resurrected Newsweek in 2013 as a zombie search engine optimized spam farm. I don't even know what that sentence means. Cult-like evangelical church whose followers resurrected Newsweek in 2013 as a zombie search engine optimized spam farm. Okay, well, it's quite a thing they got going for them. She visited a strange bookstore operated by the resellers in San Francisco and found a stunted concrete reproduction of the dazzlingly phony storefronts she'd encountered on Amazon, arranged haphazardly with best-selling books, plastic tchotchkes, plastic something, and beauty products apparently bought from wholesalers. At some point, I began to feel like I was in a dream, she wrote, or that I was half awake, unable to distinguish the virtual from the real, the local from the global, or a product from Photoshop image, the sincere from the insincere. So they're saying even the businesses are fake. So now the metrics to measure everything are fake. The people who are all on there are fake. Even if it's just fake butt cheeks, you're all are fucking fake. And then the businesses are now fake. None of these businesses exist, or well, none of the ones they brought up. I think those are pretty one-off examples. I'm going to say there's a reason why that's such a short paragraph right there comparative to the ones above it. Because those are pretty one-off examples of fake businesses. Although fake businesses, again, they've always been a thing. You know, you ever heard the term, if you believe that, I got a bridge I can sell you? That comes from, you know, buying a bridge, the whole idea of buying a bridge. There used to be a guy back in the day. I'll have to get up the real story for it to remember the particulars. But a man used to sell people the deeds or rights to own the Golden Gate Bridge, I think it was. And obviously you can't sell a bridge, but people back then didn't know that. They would go in, spend a few $100s for the certificate to own the bridge, and they'd go out on the bridge and try to stop traffic, say, this is my bridge. And, you know, the government or the cops would have to step in and say, you got hosed, buddy. So scamming has always been a thing. Fake businesses have always been a thing. It isn't just on, you know, social media. My cutie pie is actually looking for a job right now and has ran into multiple fake businesses while she's on Indeed. So fake businesses everywhere. It's always been a thing. Continuing, the content is fake. The only site that gives me that dizzying sensation of unreality as often as Amazon does is YouTube, which plays host to weeks' worth of inverted, inhuman content. TV episodes that have been mirror flipped to avoid copyright takedowns air next to huckster vloggers flogging merchant who air next to anonymously produced videos that are ostensibly for children. I think everyone's aware of those children's videos on YouTube. They are pretty like, I don't know if that a kid should watch that. But huckster vloggers flogging merch. That's a handful or mouthful. An animated video of Spider-Man and Elsa from Frozen riding tractors is not, you know, not real. Some poor soul animated it and gave voice to its actors, and I have no doubt that some number, dozens, hundreds, millions, sure, why not, of kids have sat and watched it and found some mystifying occult enjoyment in it. I believe the whole thing with the Frozen and Elsa, there was a word for that whole phenomenon. They were doing all kinds of crazy shit with Elsa from Frozen, like different videos of her doing crazier and crazier and weirder shit. It was a whole trend that was happening on YouTube, but that was a long time ago. Again, this article is written in 2018, so, you know, for context, that's so old, some of y'all youngins don't even remember that. But it's certainly not official, and it's hard watching it on screen as an adult to understand where it came from and what it means that the viewer count beneath it is continuously ticking up. So, these at least are mostly bootleg videos of popular fictional characters. AI counterfeit reality. Counterfeit reality is still more difficult to find for now. In January 2018, an anonymous Redditor created a relatively easy-to-use desktop app implementation of deepfakes, the now infamous technology that uses artificial intelligence image processing to replace one face in a video with another, putting, say, a politician over a porn star's. A recent academic paper from researchers at graphics card company NVIDIA demonstrates a similar technique used to create images of computer-generated human faces that look shockingly like photographs of real people. Next time Russians want to puppeteer a group of invented Americans on Facebook, they won't even need to steal photos of real people. Always going back to those Russians, man. Just faking everything, I guess. Or at least that's what we say here in America. Contrary to what you might expect, a world suffused with deep fakes and other AI-generated photographic images won't be one in which fake images are routinely believed to be real, but one in which real images are routinely believed to be fake. Ooh, that's interesting. Simply because in the wake of the inversion, we'll be able to tell the difference. Okay, I got to stop and backtrack. What the fuck is the inversion? They keep referencing the inversion, and it's menacing. Okay, here we go. How much of the internet is fake? Studies generally suggest that year after year, less than 60% of web traffic is human. Some years, according to some researchers, a healthy majority of it is bot. For a period of time in 2013, the Times reported this year, a full half of YouTube traffic was bots masquerading as people. And we read in that other article in 2022, 50% of social media engagement was also bots. A portion so high that employees feared an inflection point after which YouTube systems for detecting fraudulent traffic would begin to regard bot traffic as real and human traffic as fake. They called this hypothetical event the inversion. Okay, so the inversion is when social media stops being able to realize the difference between AI-generated content or fake content and real human content. I have a feeling we're past that point, right? Don't you? Since this was written in 2018, I feel like we're past the point where social media can't acknowledge that there's a difference, you know? And as far as taking these points and supplanting them in 2015, the metrics are fake. I think we had that whole to do with Elon Musk talking about Twitter's metrics, how they were full of shit when he first bought it. I don't know how realistic that ended up being, but supposedly it was a big deal. People are fake. We're getting more and more fake, bots. Again, like we talked about on Reddit, tons of fake information. I guess that would fall under the content is fake. That was the last one we read, right? Yeah, fake content. I don't know how fake you can say the content is when people are ripping off other people's content. I do think that they got, on YouTube at least, it's definitely not the same world. And I think that they've done a pretty good job of jumping on that and squashing the whole stealing other people's content sort of thing. I know, like on Twitch, I guess other Twitch users will have to tell me how good the algorithm is at spotting people who are stealing other people's content. But as far as I'm aware, the terms of service, it outlines it pretty clearly how, if you do this, that, the other thing, you're stealing content and you're going to get your copyright strike or whatever. I don't know how good the algorithm is giving you appropriate copyright strikes. I know YouTube's is pretty intense. I watch plenty of YouTubers who are regularly getting copyright strikes, and it seems like they don't fuck around. So some of these points might have been good points in 2018, but nowadays, like the Elsa thing, that sort of stuff isn't happening as far as I'm aware. So a lot of things have changed since 2018. Still interesting points. Let's continue though. Our politics are fake. Such a loss of any anchoring reality only makes us pine for it more. I have a feeling I know what this little paragraph is going to say, but anyways. Our politics have been inverted along with everything else, suffused with a Gnostic sense that we are being scammed and defrauded and lied to, but that a real truth still lurks somewhere. Adolescents are deeply engaged by YouTube videos that promise to show the hard reality beneath the scams of feminism and diversity, a process they call red pilling, after the scene in The Matrix when the computer simulation falls away and reality appears. Political arguments now involve trading accusations of virtue signaling, the idea that liberals are faking their politics for social reward against the charges of being Russian bots. The only thing anyone can agree on is that everyone online is lying and fake. Okay, that's not what I thought they were going to say, actually. It was kind of in the vein of what I thought they were going to say, but, I guess that tracks, again, their idea, our politics are fake. Well, I didn't read anything there that made me feel like, oh, anybody's politics are necessarily fake. I think a lot of the content that people use to inform their politics are fake. And that's what I thought this was going to say is your political opinion might be based on utter bullshit that you just see on the internet. That's something you definitely have to worry about. Like I said before, you see it all the time on Reddit. Somebody posts a statistic about this, that, or the other thing. It's politically orientated. And then somebody else will come in there and be like, hey, this was researched. It's debunked. This isn't a real statistic. This isn't a real thing. Happens all the time on Reddit. So, somebody saying like, oh, this is the real truth, and then making like a red pill video or whatever, is like, but like, is it fake then? You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't necessarily mean that their opinions, their political position is fake. You might not like it. It might be a bad political position, but it doesn't mean that it's fake. It just means that they are, using, I guess, what would be the word? I wouldn't really even say immoral. It is just a sales pitch, really, is what they're saying. It's a sales pitch. They're saying, hey, what I have to tell you is the truth. And then other people are saying, nuh-uh, what I have to tell you is the truth. I think there's something there to say about the continuous accusation of somebody else's virtue signaling versus, people on the left, you're virtue signaling, people on the right, you're all Russian bots. There's something there to be said, but it's not necessarily that everybody's fake, because there is people who are virtue signaling and there is Russian bots, there's people who get their information from Russian bots, and there's people who get their information from other people who are just virtue signaling. And so those are real phenomenons that do happen. And, the accusations themselves, aren't, it's not that they're not warranted. It's just that, they're unfounded unless you have evidence of the claim. But it's based off of real phenomenon that's actually happening. Now, what I think I would say about it is it definitely makes people more polarized. Since this article was written in 2018, our country's become way more polarized. If you're a liberal, you're lucky if virtue signaling is the only thing you get called on the internet, right? And if you're a Republican, Russian bot is like the lowest of the totem poles of things you're going to get called, right? You're more likely to get something like a death threat nowadays, and that's not true for everybody, but it's true, especially the content creators themselves. I don't know a single left or right content creator that hasn't had some amount of death threats or swatting or something happen against them. You know what I'm saying? And it's because of this particular phenomenon right here. And then to the very depressing end, we ourselves are fake. We're all fake, everybody. I'm sorry. You're fake as fuck. I'm fake as fuck. We can be fake together, though. Which, well, okay. We ourselves are fake. Which, well, I don't know what that sentence. Okay. Everywhere I went online this year, I was asked to prove I'm a human. Can you retype this distorted word? Can you transcribe this house number? Can you select the images that contain a motorcycle? I fucking hate those things because they always have like one little block that has like a little baby corner of the fucking wheel, and you're like, does that count? Because it's a part of the motorcycle, fuckers. I found myself prostrate daily at the feet of robot bouncers, frantically showing off my highly developed pattern matching skills. Does a Vespa count as a motorcycle? Yeah, thank you, right? There you go, another one. That's what I'm saying. So I could get into nightclubs I'm not even sure I want to enter. Once inside, I was directed by dopamine feedback loops to scroll well past any healthy point, manipulated by emotionally charged headlines and posts to click on things I didn't care about. To get into nightclubs. So I'm assuming the nightclub in this is a metaphor. To scroll well past any healthy point, manipulated by emotionally charged headlines and posts to click on things I didn't care about, and harried and hectored and sweet-talked into arguments and purchases and relationships so algorithmically determined it was hard to describe them as real. Geesh, that's some black pill shit right there. Where does that leave us? I'm not sure the solution is to seek out some pre-inversion authenticity, to red pill ourselves back to reality. What's gone from the internet, after all, isn't truth, but trust. The sense that the people and things we encounter are what they represent themselves to be. Years of metrics-driven growth, lucrative manipulative systems, and unregulated platform marketplaces have created an environment where it makes more sense to be fake online, to be disingenuous and cynical, to lie and cheat, to misrepresent and distort, than it does to be real. Fixing that would require cultural and political reform in Silicon Valley and around the world, but it's our only choice. Otherwise, we'll all end up on the bot internet of fake people, fake click, fake sites, fake computers, where the only real thing is the ads. Geesh. That's depressing. That's depressing as shit. But, so is it true? Do you agree with what this person's saying in this article, Mr. or Mrs. Hold on, what's your name? Scroll, little mouse. Max Reed. Do you agree with Max Reed here and the Intelligencer on all this fake shit? Are you yourself fake? Do you feel fucking fake? I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I don't even entirely agree with the idea that being disingenuous, cynical, lying and cheating, misrepresenting and distorting is more beneficial than being authentic. I don't particularly agree with that particular statement. In fact, I think, that guitarist, alt rock buddy of mine that's still in the music industry that I was telling you about earlier, he believes, and I'm with him on this, he's got a nose for the changing of the tides, right? I'm going to move back to my chatting screen for Cutie Pie's sake. He's of the opinion, he's got a really good, let me track back. He's got a really good penchant for being able to sniff out what like the new thing in the world is, right? He actually, Twitch, funny enough, when Twitch first came around, I think it was like 2014 or 15, I don't know, something like that. Y'all are old, 10 years now. That's crazy. When it first came around, I remember him, hanging out with him hopping in my truck and being like, have you heard of Twitch? And I'm like, no, I don't know what that is. And he's like, it's this thing where people play video games. And I was like, wow, like another social media thing that I gotta fucking keep up with. And he's like, no, it's not like that. It's just another way for people to produce content. And he's like, I know that this is going to be a thing. I'm sure that it's going to be a thing. I just don't know how I can use it currently in my career. We were recording engineers and studio owners at the same time. We owned a studio together. And he's like, I'm just not sure how we could utilize this platform to our advantage in our careers at this point. But I'm certain that this is going to become a thing. And at some point is going to become a viable way of advertising and making money. And I said, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe, maybe not. There's so many of them. You know, the TikTok is popping up, the Twitch is over here, the Discord over there, this, that, and the other fucking flipping thing. And it was kind of like, yeah, maybe, maybe it won't. I have no idea, man. You know, well, 10 years later, I call him up and I'm like, hey, guess what? I'm doing a fucking Twitch stream. So, because I think you're right. It took me 10 years to agree with you because I was slow on the intake. But I do think that there is potential in Twitch to become a platform that is more than just people playing video games. Nothing against all y'all who like to play video games. Good for you. Your video games are awesome. A lot of you are really good and you blow my minds. But besides that, Twitch has the opportunity to become a lot of different things. Like this show, for example, was one of those things that I didn't see on Twitch. And I was like, why isn't this a thing? Like, this could be a thing. This could be a thing that people enjoy doing. I would like, I enjoy watching YouTube channels where people research a particular topic and then give you the information and you're like, they make the video or whatever. And that's nice, but none of it is live. It would be way cooler if there was a place where I could go that was live and I could watch somebody actually going through the information that they're finding in real time, share it with me, and then I could even sit and type to them and say, no, you're full of shit, bruh, or whatever, it is I want to say to them. And so I was like, that would be, a cool thing. Why isn't that on Twitch yet? I noticed that now we have like Twitch baking channels and cooking channels. See, that's really fucking cool. In my mind, I'm looking at, I'm like, Twitch is starting to turn into like the new age television where people tune in for like live performances. I know most of television back in the day was pre-recorded, but we're getting to that point where it's turning into like live performance stuff. And there's so many different things you could do live for people on Twitch that could be interesting to watch, and it's turning into how people back in the 90s, I grew up in the 90s, and back then you'd sit down in the family room with a TV and somebody would throw on their favorite sitcom and then they'd go to the next sitcom a half an hour later or an hour later, and then they'd go to their favorite cooking show, or they'd go to gosh, those burps, man, they're killing me. They'd go to the news, they'd go here, they'd go there, they'd go wherever they needed, wherever to watch all this different content. I could see Twitch being very similar to that, where people are just hopping in between their favorite streamers. You come here to watch a little bit about dead internet theory, or any conspiracy theory, or come in for my Film Buff Fridays. And then when I'm done in 2 hours, you go back to watching any of the other big Twitch streamers that are out there, that are doing like the talking thing, like Asmongold, or playing the video games, or doing the, cook shows or whatever, so your favorite political talk show, like Hassan or whatever, so, it's a thing where you can just sit. It's almost like television channels where you can just swap back and forth. I'm like, man, I see a lot of potential in this now. It took me 10 years. Anyway, long story long, that was just to say my buddy Sean has a really good way of, I guess for lack of a better word, predicting the future or predicting what's going to happen in any particular industry. And he's always been really good at that. That's just one of a dozen different examples. I've been told to limit the examples, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, Cutie Pie. Thank you. Leave it at that one example, but there's tons of other examples of him doing just that. And so one thing that he has said recently in the last few years that I tend to agree with, because it's him saying it mostly, is we have gone through, as this person clearly thinks, Max Reed here clearly agrees, in 2018, for years there, the faker you were, the more unrealistic you were, it was like the more clicks you got, because it was like the more unbelievable your shit was. Watch me lift 500 pounds on the bench press, and the person's using fake weights. Well, most people are going to have to use fake weights if they're going to bench press 500 fucking pounds. You know what I'm saying? And so, but people would still click on it because they want to see someone bench 500 pounds. They aren't up to date on the fact that this is all fake. They're clicking on influencers, fitness influencers on Instagram, not realizing that this person has a fake butt in their pants and fake titties and a fake this and that. And then they have the lighting that's shining on their muscles to make them look much bigger than they really are and all of that. Well, over the last few years, more of us, especially younger generations who have been almost, swarmed with this fakeness, have gotten to the point where they're sick of it. And they're not only sick of it, but they're really good at spotting it. They don't need Max Reed to tell them what's fake. They themselves are becoming really good at spotting who's full of shit and who isn't. Who's got fake butt pads in and who doesn't. Who's actually big and muscular and who's just posing under a particular set of lights and maybe using Photoshop to make their biceps look big. And eventually, not only are these people, our younger generations, not only are they getting better at spotting fake, but they're going to want more real. Okay. There was a point where we wanted fake because fake was wild and crazy. And plus we didn't realize it was fake. Now we're getting to a point where we realize almost everything we're seeing is fake. We're tired of it. We're sick of it. And we want real. We want authentic. And I think just like Sean proposes that here in the near future, slowly starting now, but even more so into the future, we're going to want authenticity. People are going to want to tune in to somebody's Twitch stream because they are a real person and because they are talking like a real person. They're being authentic in who they are. They're not trying to, scam you with, butt pads and anything like that, And I think he's correct on that. I think that, yeah, we're eventually going to get to a point where people want authenticity. And, I think that's going to be something that AI has to contend with. I think it's going to become even more so with AI. AI is going to even expedite that process more, where you're seeing it more and more on X and Twitter, where, that article that we read, they were right. People were annoyed and upset and are getting more annoyed, upset every day with fake images, fake writing, fake music. People aren't actually making any of this stuff. And the audience on X, Instagram, wherever, is getting more and more tired of all this fake AI generated shit. It's almost becoming a slap across the face, not just to the actual creators of these particular art forms, but even to the people who intake this art form. They're like, I don't want this. I want something written by a person or made by a person. And so it's an interesting idea and it's an interesting theory. I hope it goes that way as a writer. That would be really nice. As a writer, I've kind of come to terms with the fact that AI is going to happen. Most writers are not going to have a job here in the next few years. It's already difficult to make it as a writer. It's going to be impossible to make it as a writer unless you're extraordinarily amazing. But that's probably the future of writing, at least in the short term, at least for a while. Hopefully, maybe the amount of anger people get from having to ingest fake AI bullshit will lead them to want authenticity more and more and more, to the point that they reject AI and AI created writing and everything else and look specifically for stuff that's been made by people. That's Sean's prediction, at least when it comes to the idea of people online, content creation, stuff like that. And I tend to agree with him. Okay, rant over. Let's go back to my non-rant screen where I'm teeny tiny again. So those are some arguments in favor of the dead internet theory. What is this? Okay, this is a little bit more evidence in favor of dead internet theory. We're just going to go through these quick bullet points. I'm not going to read the whole thing because a lot of it is just going back over what we've already talked about. So this is The Guardian. So dead internet theory wasn't wrong. It was just too soon. Talking about a dead internet the summer before the release of ChatGPT is like the Guardian colleague who confidently declared in the summer of 2016, it's been a mad rush of political news since the 2014 local elections. So it's weird to think that there's just Brexit and the US election and then everything else will be quiet for the next few years. Oh, yeah, that was way too soon. In 2021, the internet felt dead because aggressive algorithmic curation was driving people to act like robots. In 2024, the opposite has happened. The robots are posting like people. Here are just a few examples. On Twitter itself, after Musk rescued the site from the frying pan and tossed it into a volcano, that's a funny way to characterize that. An ill-conceived monetization scheme has made it profitable to buy a blue checkmark, attach it to a large language model, and set it running wild replying to viral content. The social network now pays verified users a proportion of the ad revenue received from their own comment threads, turning the most viral posts on the site into a low-stakes, all-bot battle royale. Now, that's an example, but that's not proof. That's important to put that into context. They're saying this is happening, but there was no proof there to show that it was happening. Maybe if we click on this link, we get the proof. The blue checkmark comment priority is unbearable. According to Statista, okay, so here's the proof. According to Statista, the number of X-Blue subscribers as of April 2023 is 600,000, which is less than 1% of daily X users. Now imagine a tweet with hundreds of thousands of comments. Around 1,000 of these comments will be from X-Blue subscribers, and they will appear at the top of the other 99,000 tweets solely because they paid $8 a month to X. Have you considered how much spam, unrelated ads, OnlyFans nude ads, unfunny people, people whose language I don't speak, crypto scams, and verified parody accounts I need to scroll past in order to reach the part where comments are actually sorted by relevance and impressions? I don't have anything against donating to a platform or a platform offering features and privileges to donors, but implementing such a drastic measure that benefits 1% over the other 99% commenters and readers seems unfair. As a result, you can no longer see public discussion and opinions under tweets of accounts with very large following, such as Joe Biden, Donald J. Trump, or Mr. Beast. Okay, that wasn't proof of what they said here, of this entire monetization scheme that they said, but it's an example. So let's just continue. That's what we're going for, as example. We'll take that example without proof. Maybe somebody will happen upon this on YouTube and be able to link some proof in the comment section of YouTube. Continuing, death permeates Google. The top of its search results is a valuable position, so valuable that businesses competing to be there have no spare money to actually write their articles. No problem, ChatGPT can churn something out in a second. Of course, that's only valuable if the resulting visitors are humans. You can make money from. Bad news because, going to the next point, we'll just read into it. Across the web, bots account for around half of all internet traffic, according to research from cybersecurity firm Imperva. Almost 1/3 of all traffic is what the company calls bad bots, doing anything from ad fraud to brute force hacking tactics. But even the good bots are struggling to earn that categorization. Google's crawler was a welcome sight when it was updating your search entry, but less so when it was simply training an AI to repeat what you wrote without sending any users over. Okay, so anyways, this right here did give us some statistics. Imperva says bots account for half of all internet traffic. That's pretty crazy. I think that might have been the statistic we already read. I don't remember. I closed that webpage. But yeah, so the thing with Google, I think everybody has ran into that as well, right? Where you're on Google, you know, I still use Google as a search engine here and there, but I use a lot of different search engines when trying to get all these different web pages because, yeah, man, there's times where I get on Google and I'll search dead internet theory or something for as an example, and I don't get shit. Like I get clicks that it's just, you know, I'll type in, when did dead internet theory originate? And aside from the AI will give me what it says. Google's AI Gemini will say what it, you know, or ChatGPT or whatever will say it, but it won't give me any articles in the first 2 pages. There's not a single article I can click on where it just answers that fucking question. And so a lot of people, I've heard this from a lot of people, I don't know, maybe other users have had the same experience, where Google's search engine has turned into shit. Man, it's just poop. You just don't get shit out of it. It's just fucking poop. Here, I need to take some aspirin for my throat. Hold on. Me and my girlfriend were watching a movie the other day, and I forgot what it was, but they had the guy taking pills, popping them and chewing them and swallowing them. And I was like, who the fuck takes pills like that? That's in every movie where somebody takes pills. They just like take them without water, chew them and swallow them. And it's like, nobody does that with aspirin. Why would you? That probably tastes fucking gross. Anyway, long story short, Google's search engine sucks. And the last example, and then there's Crab Jesus. Oh, Crab Jesus, the distant relative of Shrimp Jesus. An unholy marriage of Facebook content farms, AI generated imagery, and automated testing to work out what goes the most viral led to weeks of viral content featuring combinations of Jesus, crustaceans, and female flight attendants. That's a new one. Female flight attendants. In one such image, Jesus was pictured eating shellfish wearing a jacket made of prawns. More confusing was the image of a sort of crab centaur savior walking along a beach arm in arm with what appears to be the entire crew from a long haul flight. It was at least interestingly bizarre, a step up from the previous viral chum of the 122-year-old woman posing in front of her homemade birthday cake. 100. I want to see that. No. Video over nothing. Oh, here. No. Advertisement. No. Wow, okay, so that gave us a link and the link didn't go to shit. That's a bummer. 2 weeks of viral content. Is this link going to go anywhere? Here we go. Amen to bizarre AI generated images of Jesus. There's a few of them right here. Huh. Those aren't as bad as the Shrimp Jesus. The Shrimp Jesus was pretty bad. Here's one. Okay, that's Jesus and a shrimp with a flight attendant. Yeah, that's a fucking thing. And here we go. This is Jesus made out of nails with a little black boy. Okay. That's a thing too. Yeah. All right. Neither of them are as scary as Shrimp Jesus. Shrimp Jesus was pretty fucking freaky. Okay, I just want to read this last paragraph. I want to provide a ray of hope here, a nice little tip for how to insert some vitality into the internet again, but I can't. Oh. I just was going to read this because I'm like, oh, finally, white pill us, please. No, this guy's going to go with the black pill. He's just like Max Reed, all these fucking black pillars. It really does feel as if the public-facing net is in the later stages of a zombie apocalypse. The good news is that there are safe havens. Private social, like WhatsApp and Discord servers, can hide from the onslaught in secrecy, while smaller communities such as Blue Sky and Mastodon are safe through obscurity for now. In the midterm, I expect to see large platforms cotton on to the wasteland their services have become, and use a combination of account verification and AI detection to try and restore some humanity to their offerings. Whether it be too late by then, though, is an open question. So there's some more proof in favor of dead internet theory, and I do want to highlight what they postulate here. The theory wasn't wrong, it was just too soon. So they're saying we are in dead internet theory now, or virtually there. And I think that tends to be a continuous thing that we see in all the various videos that I have. I have a couple more videos and a couple more opinions from a couple of different people popping up here. But all of the articles that we've gone over thus far, and all the articles that we're going to go over here in a minute, that seems to be what a lot of people are saying. Not everybody, but that is what some people are saying, is it wasn't true when it came about. It was kind of a joke. It didn't really, hit. Like, people were like, no, you're full of shit, whatever, you're just a weirdo, this is more flat earth shit. And now people are saying, oh, it might actually be true. With AI getting as good as it has in the last couple of years, it seems like there's the potential for it to be legitimate. So there you go. That's all the evidence I have in favor of dead internet theory. We're going to take a little break here because I need to pee. When we come back, we'll go over this video by Behind the News on dead internet theory. This particular video is going to be some critique of dead internet theory, why dead internet theory isn't correct. This is a study done on dead internet theory, so we're going to go over their results. I don't remember if it was critical of the theory or if it was in favor of. So we'll just go ahead and read it and see what happens. We'll play a little bit of Mr. What is this guy's name? I know he's a big Penguin Zero, I believe. Yeah, I know he's a big Twitch streamer, right? So y'all like him. We'll see what he has to say about it, because I thought he had some very interesting shit to say. And a few thoughts on the dead internet theory. What was this? Hold on, let me click back into my criticism. More criticism on the dead internet theory. and then some interesting thoughts if we have time. This person seems to have some very interesting ideas of about dead. It's pretty. Here we go. Oh yeah, some very interesting thoughts on dead theory, internet theory that I wanted to share with you just for your consideration if we have time at the end of the stream. But we got about 40 minutes left in the stream anyhow. So I'm going to go take a pee and do something else with my time. And it's just going to be a few minutes. Actually, I'm going to go swig my mouth out with some Listerine. I've been taking Listerine for my throat and it makes it feel really good. I'm definitely needing it right now. So let's go ahead and I will play some music for you. Which song did I leave off at? This one right here. Yeah, you can go ahead, listen to this music, and watch this really awesome Be Right Back screen, and I will see you here shortly. Okay, I'm back. Okay, let's hop in wherever we were at. Hold on. I have a sore throat, and I'm still gonna eat some candy. It's just sitting right here staring at me, for fuck's sakes. Just a little innocent roll of Smarties. It'll be fine. I'll be okay. I'll survive. Okay. So now we're gonna go over some criticisms of the dead internet theory. Here, I guess I could start that video while I'm unwrapping my sweet, sweet Smarties. So this is by Behind the News. Haven't checked these people out yet, so let's see what they got to say about it. I know I did watch the video, and it had some valid critiques, I guess. I wouldn't use their video if it didn't have any valid critiques. So let's go ahead and see what they have to say.
The internet is dead. Or at least that's what a growing number of people believe.
Okay, this is the reason why I actually choose to watch this video, because I thought that intro was funny. Him digging himself out of a grave, I thought it was clever, and that's the whole reason that we watch this video.
Why? Well, because of the rise of stuff like this. It's known as AI slop, the latest form of spam infecting the web.
Whoa! That gold bar is glowing! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Stop.
Wow!
And
Chill.
the web.
There's the 122-year-old grandma I wanted to see. Boom, right there. 1,122-year-old Rosa. That was the fake video they were talking about earlier in that article. What's this? Shocking discovery in the Amazon rainforest, skeleton of the giant with the longest neck. That's creepy. All of this is creepy. That's not so creepy. Little white boy on a log. My grandfather did this for me. And that's freaky, though. I don't know. Congratulations to those who will like this picture and my page. Oh, that is such a creepy photo.
It's known as
40,000 likes on it, too.
AI slop, the latest form of spam infecting the web.
Whoa! That gold bar is glowing! Whoa! 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 Wow!
And it's this uncanny, bizarre posting that's feeding something called the dead internet theory.
It's basically a conspiracy theory that most of the traffic, posts, and users on the internet have been replaced by bots and AI-generated content, intentionally coordinated to control the population.
Y'all missed who this is because I'm in the way. My pretty face is in the way. This is Joe Baronio. He's an ABC journalist.
And AI-generated content, intentionally
He's got
coordinated
great hair,
to
too.
control the population. And that humans have lost control of the World Wide Web.
The term did come from conspiracy theory circles, but you have to keep in mind that back when the term was being coined, most content would have been coming from people. So you can see why it would be falling into that conspiracy theory camp.
This is Jake Renzella, a computer scientist from the University of New South Wales. And he says while the theory's probably not true, the way we use the internet has changed a lot. The internet was created by the US government in 1983 to communicate and share information. It wasn't openly accessible to the public for about a decade, but eventually debuted as the World Wide Web. Back then, social media wasn't a thing, at least as we know it now. Instead, there were forums where people could write notes, upload images, and share ideas with.
Man, this is so nostalgic. I don't know if anybody who watches this video is going to be old enough to remember this. The dial tone from AOL, that old school, man. Geesh. Sounds like these two dudes also have the same kind of theory. At least when it was made, it definitely was a conspiracy, but now it's getting at least closer to the truth. Let's
with each
continue
other
to see what they have to
directly,
say about it.
paving the way for the many different social media platforms we've come to know over the past decade or so. But
2024 was the point in which there were some reports that estimated that 50% of new content being generated on the internet was coming from bots. That was sort of a landmark.
We've already heard that stat.
Moment.
The goal for these
Couple
bots
different
is
people have
usually
said
to
that.
rustle up engagement. That's why we see bizarre mashups of popular things like animals. And the obvious reason is, well, money.
social media is advertisement based. So if you've got an account with lots and lots of engagement, often the social media will pay out those creators some portion of the ad revenue.
But Jake says it might not just be about money.
What made the internet great, which was being accessible and free and quick and easy, has meant there's also opportunities for potentially governments or agencies or companies to try and manipulate viewers of those platforms. And that's sort of what we're getting to with the dead internet theory.
So now they're kind of following the same train of thought as that very first article we read, where dead internet theory itself isn't so much of a big deal, not as boomer pilled or doomer pilled as those last two articles, Max Reed and the other guy that we just read, where they're like, oh, it's all fake, you're fucking fake, we're all just fucking fake, we're all living on a turtle's back in the fucking some gorilla's dream or some shit. You know, the first article we read was a little bit less black pilled, where it was like, yeah, you know, fake internet, it's a bummer or whatever. But really the danger is in disinformation, propaganda, things like that.
As these AI accounts gain followers and interactions, mostly from other bots, their posts appear in more users' feeds, making the accounts hot property for spreading disinformation and swaying public opinion.
If you have huge numbers of accounts expressing support for something, it's not necessarily that you believe it, but you might think, oh, wow, lots of people think that, I need to pay more attention to that. Where maybe there's not actually many real people with those thoughts.
Back in 2018, a study from Nature Communications, which analysed 14 million tweets from 2016 to 2017, found that bot accounts with high numbers of followers were significantly involved in spreading misinformation and disinformation.
Hold on, I wanted to read that.
Spreading misinformation.
Super spreaders are significantly more likely to be bots compared to the general population of accounts who share low credibility content. Ooh, that's not good.
And disinformation, usually around significant events like wars and elections. More recently, in January 2024...
These are the celebrities. These were the celebrity images, all the different celebrities I was talking about, Jennifer Aniston, using them to push Russian propaganda.
Digital
See, we are impoverished. It's time to forget about Ukraine.
Forensic experts in Germany found tens of thousands of AI bot accounts
Elton John
X that were being used for pro-Russian
Angelina
disinformation
Jolie.
campaigns to undermine support for
Scarlett
Ukraine.
Johansson.
Other investigations found a major spike in bot activity around the recent US election. And these bad actors can also hijack dormant accounts of real people, giving the AI content they post more credibility.
It's not just social media that's changing. Experts say the internet, as most of us use it, has become more commercialised and regulated. In 2016, the Australian government forced internet service providers to block more than 60 illegal file-sharing sites.
So now they're getting into what was kind of touched on. I think it was the second article that we read. They're basically covering how, you know, internet back in the day, for all you youngins that don't remember, man, it was a fucking free-for-all. Like, you know, okay, we're going to have to, before we finish this video, we're going to have to move back to my rant screen. Okay, so back in the day when we were young, like, internet was just like a fucking free-for-all. I remember you could get on the internet, look up anything, and there was next to no censorship over anything. I mean, you could jump in a comment section and call somebody every nasty, dirty name in the book, and there was not a fucking thing anybody could do about it except get angry at you and call you every nasty, dirty name in the book, right? So I remember being a kid and printing off a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook. For those of you that aren't aware of that, the Anarchist Cookbook was like a how-to guide for building bombs and all kinds of crazy shit. It was bombs, booby traps, all kinds of shit that you don't want a 14-year-old kid to know how to do. And I remember printing it off at a friend of mine's house, and it was just a thing. He just typed in Anarchist Cookbook, and it had those pages right there, and you just printed them right off, and it was whatever. I remember going over to a friend's house, and him getting on, God, what was the name of that website? Shit, it was New Something, man. If there's, you know, and if this video, when this video goes to YouTube, if any 90s kids remember the name of this website. God, it was legendary. It was newsomething.com. Not Newcastle. That's a town in Wyoming. Newgrounds. I think it was newgrounds.com. They used to have a game on there, Stick Deaths, or stickdeath.com. That was a whole other thing. But Newgrounds had a bunch of really fucked up games you could play, and people would load a bunch of videos. And that's where, if anybody remembers, the BME Pain Olympics was on there. Ooh, God, I don't know if anybody, you know, any of you who are young, you're not going to be able to find any of that shit on the internet anymore. And maybe that's a good thing, because it was a dude. It was dudes. And I don't know why or how or what, but it was dudes. How do you put this? What's the way to put this and not get banned off Twitch? Dudes doing painful stuff to their genitals. That's what it was. This dude would like take his ball sack and like nail it to a wooden table. Yeah. I can almost see you making a cringy fucking face through the camera. And we used to watch that shit when we were kids. It would pop up all kinds of videos like that. They used to have like the decapitation videos from Mexican cartels would like post videos of them like chainsawing other people's heads off and post it on the internet. All kinds of fucking crazy shit. Nowadays, you got to go to like 4chan or like dark web or shit to find stuff like that. You don't find it anymore, but it was a fucking free for all. Nowadays, see, Cutie Pie remembers those videos. Yeah, they're all over the place. She's the same age as me. We're in our 30s. I mean, we're 26, 27, just turning 26. And so, but we remember that shit, you know, and nowadays internet doesn't even compare. You know, nowadays you get on YouTube and you call somebody an asshole in the comment section and it like bans all your comments. You can't even see your comments after that. You know, it's crazy. So it's another world, and it's definitely more of a corporate world. You know, they're not doing this. Keep in mind when YouTube and including Twitch, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. Twitch, YouTube, any of these platforms, they don't give a fuck about you or your feelings. Understand that. These people don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about protecting you. They don't give a shit about making you feel good or inclusive or this or that or the other thing. They care about money. They're corporations. They care about money. And advertisers won't advertise on their platforms if you got a bunch of fucking people calling each other a bunch of nasty names and posting video of other people getting their heads chopped off and shit. So they cut all that out, all the way up to the point where you can't call someone a fucking jerk off in a comment section without YouTube getting up your ass about it. So they don't do that because they care about people not getting called a fuckhead. They don't give a shit if you get called a fuckhead. They don't give a shit if you get called any nasty name in the book. Anyone, okay? I don't care what word you want to throw out. Well, what about this? They don't like it. No, I don't care. If it's racist, bigoted, sexist, any horrible thing in the book, YouTube doesn't give a fuck. Okay, they give a fuck because they don't want advertisers to have to put their shit next to that, because advertisers don't want to. They care about money. So it's corporate. It's entirely corporate. It's not ideological at all. It isn't 100% for money. So I think these people are starting to dive into that the government is heavily regulating and corporations themselves are self-regulating because they want a clean internet to advertise to you on. And that is slowly leading to dead internet theory, according to a lot of what these people postulate, which is interesting, very interesting, that if you don't let people post videos of them cutting each other's heads off, you get the dead internet. Next step in the process. Kind of crazy, right? Anyways, that's simplification, but let's continue. Oh, let's go back to... Yeah. And here we go.
Sites like Pirate Bay and internet providers voluntarily acted to block sites like 4chan for hosting inappropriate content in 2019. And while no one person or company or government owns the internet, companies like Meta, Amazon, Apple, and Google, which now controls over 90% of the search engine market, have a lot of influence.
And that can make finding information or genuine content harder.
A study from the Webis Research Group last year found that search engines like Google and Bing have been prioritizing web pages based on keywords or monetization over the quality of the content, including
okay. There you go. See, I wasn't bullshitting. Google's search engine is getting trashy. It's getting shit. It sucks. And I now have studies to prove that.
Including pages made with AI.
Whether you're trying to search for information or scrolling on social media, it's also getting harder to work out what is AI-generated content and what is human-generated content, something that companies like Meta are actually embracing.
So, hold on, I think we'll want to stop right there. Because, let me... Yeah. Okay. We're going to go ahead and stop right there because that's the subject of this next video that I want to play. So, you know, funny enough, that video was supposed to be a criticism of the dead internet theory. And yeah, it presented the same criticism that everybody else has, that it was too early when the theory came around, but it's getting a lot closer for the reasons described. AI, corporatism taking over everything, and just a general lack of people, a lack of real content. So on that note, lack of real people and real content, I want to direct us to this right here. This is a study that I found. We will scroll up a little bit. The Dead Internet Theory, investigating the rise of AI-generated content and bot dominance in hyperspace. So let's take a look at the abstract here after I break. All right, good to go now. Okay, this is going to be a hard read. Okay, this study critically investigates the dead internet theory, emphasizing how it emerged in the context of a changing digital environment. The growing internet seems to have disappeared somewhere. Another burp, aftershock. Has disappeared somewhere between 2016 and 17. The virtual world appeared lifeless due to the growth of automated creatures and AI-generated content. Despite continuing high levels of human creativity and production, the widespread impact of bots raises significant concerns about the basic structure of the internet. Researchers anticipate that the internet will change beyond recognition in the future because to this transformation, well, that's not how you say that, which is being driven by apps like GPT-3, like that's ChatGPT. The study illuminates the consequence of online interactions by investigating the widespread impact of AI-driven models such as the GPTs and the ensuing discussions regarding the dominant position of AI-generated content. This research examines the growing prevalence of artificial intelligence-generated material, as evidenced by examples like Imperva's bot circulation report. That was the report that said 50% of the internet content is fake now, or at least it was in 2022. Twitter bots, Elon Musk's Twitter acquiring it, and phony YouTube views. Through the examination of notable cases like the Twitter bot scandal and the widespread trafficking of phony YouTube videos, this study adds to a more comprehensive knowledge of the possible consequences of the increasing prevalence of automated entities in the online environment. Our findings predicted that 99.9% of all medias may be AI generated. Wow, what? That's ridiculous. Our findings predicted. Okay, they just predicted that, which raised concerns when ChatGPT became available in 2022. Furthermore, Imperva stated in 2016, now that 52% of the internet traffic is bots now, indicating bots replacing humans, forecasting a day when content generated by AI will dominate. This outcome give conformity to the idea of dead internet theory. These people really got to spell check their shit, man. I mean, you want to sound like a scientist, you need to sound all smart and shit, which means you can't say not bad, good words and stupid thing like, you got to actually fucking say what sound smart. Anyways, let's look at some of their results. Let's look at Facebook. Compared to the 3.3 billion fake accounts deleted in 2018, Facebook has deactivated 5.4 billion false accounts on its main platform. Although technology has made it possible for detections to occur more quickly, the firm admits that approximately 5% of its regular user base, which is close to 2.5 billion, consists of fake accounts. This suggests that there is still work to be done in reducing the number of fake identities on the social network. So only 5% there. That's not bad. I do want to read, when did this study take place? Because they're saying Facebook and not Meta. It was published in 2024. Okay, so publishing date 2024. Still doesn't tell us when exactly they did the study itself. But okay, whatever, there's can be a discrepancy between when they did the study and when they published the results, you know what I mean? Anyways, let's continue. Their findings for ChatGPT. The public debut of ChatGPT, an AI chatbot, in 2022 brought renewed interest in dead internet theory. Prior to this, the deceased internet idea primarily focused on businesses, governments, and tech-savvy people. However, ChatGPT gave regular internet users access to AI capability. This technique raises fears that naturally occurring human content would be supplanted by AI-generated content on the internet. Well, that's not something we haven't already seen. Imperva Bot Traffic Report 2016. It's crazy that they're citing a report from 2016 if this was written in 2024. Makes me feel like they didn't have any other reports to cite, Anyways, the security company Imperva published research on bot traffic in 2016 and discovered that for the first time, bots accounted for 52% of all web traffic, surpassing human traffic. Studies on the dead internet, we already read that. Twitter, I hate texting tweets. Okay, several Twitter accounts began tweeting things like, I hate texting. I hate texting, but I only wish to hold your hand. Or I hate texting, but come live with me, after the initial statement. Thousands of people liked these postings, leading many to believe that they were from bot accounts. The dead internet theory's proponents have pointed to these accounts as examples. Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter, as examples. Okay, Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter. This is another. Again, you need to edit your shit, son. Whoever this is, whoever wrote this, who did this, who was the author here. We need to call them out. I can't pronounce any of those names. Okay, well, you'll remain nameless for now. You're lucky that I have a hard time with foreign names. Okay, so again, people are just saying that this I hate texting thing is bots. They don't have proof that it is. But anyways, Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter. When Elon Musk acquired Twitter, a significant problem arose regarding the proportion of user accounts that were automated. Musk refuted Twitter's assertion that fewer than 5% of its revenue-generating daily active users were robots during this phase. During this controversy, Musk hired Cybra to determine the proportion of Twitter accounts that were automated. According to one research, this number was 13.7%, while another estimated 11%. It is believed that the disproportionate quantity of the content produced is the result of these bot accounts. Supporters of the dead internet theory have cited this instance as proof. Okay, YouTube. Fake YouTube views can be bought online to increase a video's legitimacy and attract more viewers. Fraudulent views were so common at one time that some developers worried that YouTube's anti-fraud algorithm might start treating fraudulent comments as default and begin misunderstanding the real ones. That was called the inversion. The phrase "the inversion," there you go, was used by YouTube developers to characterize this occurrence. The Agora Rhodes Macintosh Cafe post referenced YouTube bots and the threat of the inversion as evidence in favor of the dead internet theory. The dead internet notion has been discussed in large number of videos on YouTube and online forums, such as Linux Tech Tip forums, which has contributed to the idea's advancement into popular culture. Businesses such as Devumi.com, which sold 196 million YouTube views in 3 years, made over $1.2 million. The data highlights a serious risk to YouTube's integrity. So that's a pretty big business. So, Distill Network's 2019 Bad Bot Report. I think we kind of read a little bit about the bad bots, good bots. This is jumping back into it. Distill Networks released its 2019 Bad Bot Report, examining both the positive and negative aspects of automated online traffic at the moment. The research presents some shocking statistics, such as the fact that in 2018, 37.9% of all internet traffic was generated by bots. While this is indeed a shocking amount, it is a nice drop from the previous year's number. Dangerous and authorized bot traffic is also down, with the former down by 14.4% and 6.4% respectively. Approved bot traffic includes scrapers that are used to find travel offers. On the other hand, human travel increased by 7.5%, accounting for 62% of total internet traffic. Okay, so conclusion and future work. What was their conclusion? This discourse has sparked significant debate with online communities and led to an in-depth examination of the present state and potential future of the digital landscape. Researchers have delved into the origins, evolution, and implications of the theory, shedding light on the growing influence of AI-driven models on online interactions. Through case studies and academic discourse, a deeper understanding has emerged of how bots, while efficient for data collection, can pose risks such as privacy breaches and manipulation of social perceptions. These findings underscore the need for caution and awareness of the hazards posed by social bots, which can impact everything from personal decisions to societal and economic structures. Moreover, the increasing prevalence of AI-generated content raises questions about the preservation of authenticity in online spaces and the ethical integration of technological advancements. As such, it is crucial to remain vigilant and informed to ensure the safe and fair use of AI technology. Okay, so in a nutshell, they're saying, yeah, it's, AI is bad and it can turn into a bad thing. They're not really saying whether or not dead internet theory is 100% real, though. They say on the YouTube section, hey, the YouTube fake views is a big deal. That's a bummer. The bad bot report is a bummer. Twitter's I hate texting, and Elon Musk's findings when he purchased Twitter, also big bummers. Everything is just a big fucking bummer, bro. Everything is pointing in the direction of, it's not real, but it could be becoming real. As far as that, I mean, they don't outright say that in this study. I don't want to say that that's what this study says because it's not what it says, but it does give you a lot of reasons to believe that is becoming more real every day. And that brings us to Mr. Penguins. Let's see what he has to say about this. We're only going to watch a couple minutes. This is a 13-minute video. I'm not going to watch the whole thing. Here's a couple minutes of what he has to say.
By now, all of you have heard of dead internet theory. I don't think I need to really dive into what it means, but fundamentally, it boils down to the idea that the things and the people that you see or interact with online aren't actually real, it's bots and upcoming AI. Now, Meta has just publicly announced that they are doing their best to make dead internet theory not just a theory, but the reality. They proudly announced, like it's a Jeff Keighley world premiere, that they will be flooding, really, their platforms with AI-generated users that will share AI slop with the humans that are still left in those plagued wastelands. This isn't some wacky conspiracy that some snot-nosed, paint-huffing weirdo cooked up randomly. This is an actual upcoming change that Meta themselves announced. We are getting this fart straight from the butt, the source. I talked about it for quite a while on stream last night. I'll show you some clips of that, but I've been thinking about it a lot ever since because the question kept coming up in stream, why would they even announce this? What is it for? Like, what are they actually even hoping to achieve through flooding their platform with fake users? Because it is such an odd concept of something to be proud of. It clearly runs counter to what the whole idea of social media was supposed to be. A way of connecting to others and experiencing the world through information and content from others. It's social media, but this is becoming more programmed.
It's supposed to be
media.
people.
So I thought about it some more, and I think I have some more theories on beyond the obvious of like bigger number equal more money, and also being able to control the narrative through just brute forcing a narrative with a bunch of bot accounts that people might not be able to tell if it's AI or actual human beings. I think there are a couple more things that they're hoping to achieve through having the platform be bots. Why would...
Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you. The rest of this video, this is on Penguins Zero's YouTube account. So Dead Internet Theory is Real is the name of it. Go check that video out. Everything else that he has to say is based on this new announcement. This announcement was about 3 months ago. This is when he did the video, and I think he did it pretty quickly after the announcement, if I remember correctly. So yeah, what he's talking about is an announcement that Meta made. He kind of explained it. I'm sure that a lot of you are aware of it. Meta just announced that they're going to have actual AI bots on their platform, and purposely there to fill a number of various roles. Essentially to converse with you, talk with you, give you information on this, give you advice. You can literally like click on one of these bots and ask it for a fucking, potato recipe, and it's going to give you a bomb-ass recipe for baked potatoes. And that's what these bots do. And I wanted to play that part of the video because it's an interesting, and the previous video we also watched the one from the other guy, one that I like because he, came up out of the grave. That video at the end, I cut it short because there was virtually going to say almost the exact same word for word that Penguin Zero just said. And I wanted to show this video instead because I know everybody likes this guy and his awesome hairdo. So anyways, yeah, so generally what they're proposing is, or what their idea is that, yeah, dead internet theory is alive and well if Meta is actually coming out here and saying, yeah, dude, we're just going to fucking throw bots out here, dog. Like, we're just going to bot it the fuck up. Just bots for everyone. You get a bot. He gets a bot. There's a bot for you, a bot for her, a bot for the little ones. They're just throwing it out like candy at a fucking parade. And if that's the case and that's what's happening, which it is what's happening, then yeah, they're just making dead internet theory more real, which is interesting. I thought that is a very interesting turn of events as far as the dead internet theory, conspiracy theory goes. So anyways, we're going to move on to this article because we're almost done for the stream. This particular article, Dead Internet Theory, A Few Thoughts, I believe was a pretty short read. Yeah, it's a pretty short read. And okay, this was supposed to be critical of the theory. Last time I said that, it ended up not being so much. So hopefully this time I didn't fuck it up. So let's see what Nader Elefnahi has to say. Let's see what Nader has to say about this, right? Okay, you may have heard of the dead internet theory, holding that most of the activity we see online is not human originated, and indeed being used for the purpose of controlling the public by way of its perceptions. I think it is easy enough to understand why people believe it. Certainly, there is an enormous amount of bot-generated and related content and traffic online. Perhaps half of it is such by this point. That's probably, if we click on that link, it's probably referencing that Imperva study. While much else is indeed deliberately manipulated. For what difference is there between a bot and a professional human troll in the end from this standpoint? Well, I mean, one's a real person, the other's not, and that's kind of the whole point of dead internet theory, right? Meanwhile, the more prolific and active users of the internet, the kind who comment in fora, etc., who are actual humans who are not playing games such as not playing such games may not be really representative of the population as a whole. On the whole, more affluent and inclining more towards certain politics than others. While the black boxed algorithms fulfilling purposes concealed from the public but obviously influenced by ad money, manipulation, flack, and the commercial and political imperatives of the masters of the online platforms indisputably amplify some voices and mute others as those searching the web find themselves less and less satisfied with their search results, which seems less and less what they are actually looking for and more what someone else wants them to see. Wow, that is one big, giant, run-on sentence. Where did that sentence even start? Yeah, this guy, Nader, my son, my boy, you need to learn a little bit about punctuation. Anyways, by and large, it works in favor of the opinions that the powerful want the public to have, which is not necessarily the same thing as what the public is thinking. At the same, lots of people, you need to learn sentence structure too. At the same time, lots of people who are active online are finding contact with people they can feel reasonably sure are actual humans rarer and rarer, partly because the action keeps deserting once popular fora for others. Goodbye Facebook, hello TikTok, as MySpace is no longer even a memory for many. So that's an example. Partly because people's ways of behaving online keep changing, with the switch from desktops to smartphones making them inclined towards less involved engagement, but also because the internet has grown ever more fragmented and enclosed, a wasteland of garbage-filled search result pages and unbelievably obnoxious demands that people log in and turn off their ad block and prove they're not a bot, inhibiting their movement and their participation and making people give up free-range internet search in favor of other ways of getting information, and certainly other pastimes, continuing the long decline of web surfing to the point that the term itself may be falling into disuse, in part, I suppose, because the fun that the word surf evoked is no longer part of the activity, and we do it only when we really have to. Again, just giant. Like the whole rest of this paragraph is just one giant sentence, it looks like. Those who are competing in the ever more brutal attention economy are especially attentive to the fact, especially those among them who find it harder and harder to get an actual human audience, thus Thus, those who begin blogging in an earlier era and remember having readers who found them and left comments before there was much bot activity online, been left wondering what happened to that, even as they see their page views and other metrics of traffic surging. The result is that there really are fewer humans about in the places that they know and which are a matter to them. All that makes the dead internet theory at worst an exaggeration of much that is indisputably happening online rather than some completely baseless fantasy. All as pretending otherwise, the way self-satisfied and endlessly condescending centrist types who love to toss around terms like conspiracy theorists would have us do gets in the way of what is always the really important question: where do we go from here? Okay, so again, I think I missed the mark on criticism of it. I need to do better at that. Hey, this was my first Conspiracy Theory Thursday. All right, fucking sue me. We'll do better next time. Get more actual criticisms of the theory itself. It's hard to find criticisms of this theory because, like here, this guy says, the dead internet theory at worst is an exaggeration of much that is indisputably happening online and much less of a conspiracy theory. So, everybody's positions on it that we've covered and that I've been able to find online range from it was too early. The conspiracy thing came around too early, but it's happening now, to, well, it's an over-exaggeration. Some bad things are happening, but they're not happening to the extent that people want to say they are happening. And to, it's full-blown happening. It has been happening. They've been working towards this way. To, well, it's on its way to happening, but it's not quite there. So there's a whole different range of choices or positions people have in the matter. But I have yet to find anybody who is really just like complete, no, it's not happening. Don't worry about it happening. There's nothing even close to it happening. Not a big deal, son. Haven't heard anybody say that. I want to run over this last article real quick. Real people and our needs have become irrelevant to the business model of the modern internet. This completes the soulless life cycle of the modern internet economy. People desperate to earn a meager living create automated systems that churn out low quality or outright fake content. Others create dummy accounts to boost and share such content or fake users to read it. All of this is done to milk some money out of real-world brands. Along the way, it enriches the internet giants that operate all of the machinery. Real people and our needs have become irrelevant to the business model of the modern internet. If something interests us, our clicks pay just the same as fake users in a Chinese click farm. Good content is relegated to the sidelines to people who are able and willing to pay for the real thing. Original reported journalism is increasingly siloed behind paywalls that are themselves getting even harder. Everyone else is force-fed slop because there is no value in giving them anything better. The journalist and activist Cory Doctorow christened the phenomenon the enshittification of the internet. I like that term, enshittification. I don't know when I can throw that in a sentence, but I'm going to try, damn it. And argued it was an inevitable result of the business model of the modern internet age, hooking people in on a free or subsidized product, getting a monopoly, and then starting to extract as much profit from that product as is possible. As consumers, we get hooked on a product, be it a cheap taxi ride, a holiday, food delivery, or human connection through social media that is genuinely too good to be true because it's being subsidized by billionaire investors. Then we watch it steadily get worse. That extends well beyond online browsing. Ride-sharing apps such as Uber, Lyft, and their competitors capture the private hire market by drastically undercutting the cost of existing taxis, while initially paying drivers at least as much as they had before. Once the market was captured and the old incumbents had given up, first the drivers were screwed by declining incomes, and then customers faced higher prices. The apparently great new service could never have actually lasted in the long term. This story plays out in almost every other venture capital market, from subscription boxes and fast food or grocery delivery to Airbnb and WeWork. Very interesting theory there. I don't know how many of you have used any of those services. I don't do a lot of Uber or Lyfting, but I've gotten Airbnbs, and I would say that is definitely correct. Airbnbs at one point were infinitely cheaper than hotels until they got more expensive. Same as Uber and Lyft did. The era of a gold-plated service at rock-bottom prices never lasts. Well, I think that's a part of the deal, though. That's why when competition gets in and things have to change. It's just the way it is. Eventually, the real costs come back. The investors want to make money, and reality reasserts itself. Reality reasserts itself. Silicon Valley relies on selling us a dream it knows from the outside the onset cannot last. It could have been better than this. Both the internet and the World Wide Web predate the Silicon Valley era, which propelled startups into becoming the richest and most powerful companies on the planet. The technology works as it ever did, making it incredibly quick, cheap, and easy for us to connect to each other and to publish what we wish. The AI slop didn't need to take over. The fact that it has is the result of a series of choices. The joke of the dead internet theory was that everyone else online might have disappeared and you could be left alone without noticing. In the decades since the idea caught on, emerging technologies have been harnessed almost as though this is the goal. Humanity has become irrelevant to the business model of the internet, and so we're getting relegated to the sidelines. Facebook feeds that used to be full of real information and real stories about people from our real lives are now full of low quality and freakish engagement bait. It is no surprise that many of us, as a result, are looking elsewhere. Google results keep getting worse. Social media feeds are full of dreck, and it is impossible to know what to trust. None of the internet giants seem to even see the problem, let alone a way to fix it. Instead of trying to rebuild internet services to their former glory, they are packing in more AI and automation and inevitably even more slop. But an internet built for the bots is doomed to fail. In the end, the economy is made up of the collective efforts of humans, not anything else. If the multi-billion-dollar companies running the internet don't make it fit for humans, someone else will. However much it might feel that way, the internet is no emptier than the streets of London. We're all still here, just out of sight. So that's a bit of a white pill for you. It doesn't sound like it at first. You know, it starts on the same train of thought that everybody did, that, oh, it's all going to shit, you know, the internet's no longer here to service real people because the fake clicks and the bot accounts matter just as much as you do. All of the real content, you know, people like Cool Beans Hot Stuff are getting relegated to the sidelines, that poor bastard and his amazing beard. Nothing he can do about it, you know. But at the end of the day, I do think they got a legitimate point here, that the internet came together because of the fact that it was a place where humans could go to get specific services geared towards us. What these big tech companies are doing, this works hand in hand with that belief that this is all kind of pushed by corporations. What they're doing is creating a fake version of the internet that works for them in the short term. It's all just bots, and money might still be exchanging hands due to bot clicks and click farms and all of this nonsense. But the more it gains precedent, the more common it becomes, the less enjoyable the internet is for actual humans. And once humans are all off the internet, and don't necessarily have to be all off, just once we get to a point where we can't stand it anymore, somebody else is going to step in with a corner of the internet or a similar product, not necessarily the World Wide Web 2, but step in with social media, websites, something that can take away all of this fake content, give you that real product again. And once that happens, that's where everybody's going to go. And again, this is kind of in the vein of what I was saying with my buddy Sean, what my buddy Sean was saying. At some point, I'm going to switch back to my jabbering scream. At some point, we're all going to get sick and tired of all of the fake and inauthentic bullshit, AI-driven bullshit that we see, because this was never meant to be about AI bullshit. It was never meant to be about how much fake shit can you see on the internet. At one point in time, that took over because we didn't realize how much of it was fake. But now that people are getting better trained to realize fake, now people are getting more and more sick of fake. And eventually the people that come to the table and bring authenticity are going to have a stake again. But in the short term, we're not. In the short term, you, me, and everybody else who's on the internet trying to make a buck, we're going to be shilling for them shekels, son. We're hobos right now, shaking our little tin cans for some spare views, you know, but hopefully maybe at some point in the future that'll change when the internet gets sick and tired of shrimp Jesus and decides they want the real thing, right? So anyways, a little bit of a white pill for you. Yeah, as far as it goes with dead internet theory, you know, I don't know how many people ended up watching the stream. Probably nobody. I know Cutie Pie's still there. But if anybody else was watching, go ahead and click on the poll. I'll throw it up at the ends. Or, well, it should be on the side of the screen. You should be able to click on it now. But there's a poll there. Go ahead and click on whether you think dead internet theory is real or not. I'm going to give you my opinion, which kind of serves alongside of everybody else's opinion, which it's becoming more real. It isn't real now. It's more real now than it ever has been. And every day we're getting closer to it being a real thing. Will it ever become a real thing? It's not a real thing now yet. It's close, and it's getting closer every day. Will it ever officially become a real thing? Maybe. It'll get close enough that people will get sick and tired of the internet as it is, and other people will start creating a new section of the internet that once was, where it's real people and real interactions. I think in order for that to happen, I will say that I think a lot of us are going to have to come to terms with the fact that we're going to have to miss some of the things we like. You know, there's a trade-off to all situations in life. Like, you know, I always say there's never really a good situation or a bad situation. It's just a series of trade-offs. Every situation you're going to find yourself in has its pros and its cons. A good thing about today's modern internet is if you're the type of person who gets hurt easily, doesn't like to see horrible things on the internet, you're very protected. The internet is very secure. It's not very free, but it's very secure. And it seems like part of the payment for that security is it requires corporations to take control. And when corporations take control, they're going to not just regulate the fuck out of it so you don't get all the assholes calling you mean names, but they're going to inundate it. They're going to flood it with all of these fake bots, AI, anything that they think they can make money off of. Anything that engages, anybody that farms, anything that farms engagement and gets clicks. And that is something that you're going to have to, that's a trade-off. You're trading off all of the people on the internet being a bunch of assholes and a whole bunch of messed up shit being able to get posted on the internet for the security. But with that security comes that corporatism. You're also, I think a lot of us traded off convenience. A lot of the new age, like Amazon, for example, is extraordinarily convenient. But with that convenience comes the inevitably down the road, 1 step, 3 step, 5 steps later, this dead internet, where the internet is virtually filled to the brim with everybody who's just trying to sell you shit, right? So it's a trade-off. I think at some point there will be a turn back, and at some point we might get back to the way the internet was, where it's a big fucking free-for-all, and you're going to have to be careful what video you click on, because it might be somebody getting their head cut off or somebody stapling their balls to a table. You know, and that doesn't sound like fun, but you know, having lived in those days, it was fun. It was kind of fun. You know, there was times where it was a blast. Not the scrotums being stapled to the tables, but being able to get on the internet and just say whatever you want to fucking say and give any opinion you want and not have to be censored. You know, even if that meant that your shitty opinion was going to invite a million other people to tell you to go fuck yourself, it was probably because it was warranted, you know? So I appreciated that. I know there's a lot more conversation to be had on that particular topic, you know, about like bullying on the internet, cyberbullying, you know, and stuff like that. We don't have time to get into that, but that's my opinion on it. I think dead internet theory is not a real thing. It's slowly becoming a real thing. I don't know if it'll ever officially become a real thing, but it'll get close enough that we make a change. That it'll get closer and closer until people as a society decide to make a change. Then that's that. Okay, that does it for my very first Conspiracy Theory Thursdays. If you watch this on Twitch or you are seeing it later on YouTube, in either case, I really appreciate you watching. To my one faithful, loyal viewer, Cutie Pie, thank you so much for watching. Love you. And yeah, to everybody else, thank you so much for watching this. Hopefully I'll see you either on my YouTube channel, or if you see me there, then come visit me on Twitch. You can actually participate live and talk and chat as we go over these things. Give me your takes on it. And be sure to check out my Substack, Instagram, TikTok. Those are all going to be up here soon. Go check all that out. And yeah, in the meantime, I will see you guys tomorrow for Film Buff Fridays. That's going to be super fucking fun. I'm super stoked for that. Tomorrow we're going over how to critique a film. So that'll be a blast. All right. So I'll see you again here 7 p.m. tomorrow. In the meantime, y'all have a wonderful rest of your night, and I will see you then. Bye.